Chapter 14. 10 days had passed since Zach Wolf's call, and Jimmy hadn't heard a word. He'd texted twice in the last 4 days with no answer. He decided to try one last time, but there was no response. Jimmy knew the world had changed, but he wasn't much of a social media user anymore. He'd been an early adopter back in his late teens and early 20s, but as he got older, he deleted his posts, ditched the habit, and kept the accounts only for access. Over the years, he'd carefully curated his feeds to filter out anything resembling news. Local, national, or international. Sports were the only thing left. If something happened outside his little universe, he never saw it. But he did remember Wyatt Creed, host of the Creed Files. Hesitating, he opened private mode on his phone, knowing full well it wasn't private at all, and searched for the site. The top story read, "Wyatt hangs up on the blackout broadcast moments before suppression." Jimmy scanned the short article. It outlined exactly what he had seen. The rest of the feed told the story too. A site that once posted multiple articles per day on every political angle hadn't posted a thing since that night. Why is there nothing new? Has this plague taken over everywhere already? Jimmy muttered. Jimmy spent most of the day recovering, sore and unmotivated. When he finally rolled out of bed, he found his family gathered at the kitchen table. "Hey, everyone. What's wrong?" he asked, noticing the worry etched across their faces. Neither Chloe nor Logan's teachers showed up today, Jessica said quietly. There were only 3 kids in Chloe's class, and 4 in Logan's. All of them live outside of town. None of the other kids logged on. They all said their goodbyes. Everyone seemed destroyed. Jimmy apologized to his kids and quickly changed the subject. Breakfast. He made a scramble bowl using the last of their onions, fresh peppers, and fresh tomatoes. Their potato supply was dwindling as well, and although they had a decent supply of shelf-stable food from their garden the previous year, the lack of freshness worried Jimmy. Not for him, but for everyone else in the house. After getting the younger kids down for a nap, Jimmy and Jessica went outside to piddle around in their workshop and talk about the pandemic. Before they could get started, Charlie started barking intensely, sending Jimmy walking around the corner of the workshop door. The dog was running circles and false charging at nothing in particular. "Get inside now," Jimmy growled, and sprinted with Jessica toward the house. Grabbing his tactical rifle, he loaded a mag, chambered a round, and slung it over his shoulder. Sprinting to the back side of the shop, he waited to see what the commotion was about. Growing impatient, he shouldered the rifle, flipped the safety to fire, and began to walk tactically down the driveway and past Charlie, one eye looking down the sight while the other scanned the driveway and wood line. His finger rested uneasily on the outside of the trigger guard. "You're dead, motherfucker," a familiar voice said calmly, 10 feet behind him. Jimmy spun around, finding his target so quickly that even he was surprised. "Zach, you can't do that. I almost shot you, you idiot," Jimmy said, pointing his rifle to the ground and flipping the safety back on. "You would have missed. I guarantee it," Zach replied, now walking toward Jimmy. He looked like hell with shoes on. He was exhausted. His nose and cheeks glowed red from the cold. His red beard had icicles in it, and his brown hair was disheveled. He carried a worried look in his eyes. "You look like a can of smashed turds, brother. Are you going to tell your crew to come join you? You got me, but the game is over." "They aren't with me," Zach replied coldly. "What do you mean they aren't with you? Where are they?" "I've been walking for 10 or 15 miles. Do you mind if we go inside to continue this conversation?" "Oh, yeah, of course. Let's get inside," Jimmy said, and they hurriedly made their way past the dog, who calmed after realizing who it was. "Good boy," they said in unison, Zach patting Charlie on the head as he panted and ran alongside them, leading them both into the house. "Sit down by the fire and get warm. Honey, can we get something for him to eat? I'll get you some water, brother." "We can't stay. We've got to get back to my wife and kids." "We can stay. And we will. You look worse than a bucket of boiled pig brains. After pausing for a moment and giving Jimmy a look of disgust, Zach stood up and said, "No, we're leaving now. I can't leave them out there any longer than I have to. Sit down, warm up, tell us what's going on, and we'll figure it out." "It's fucking mayhem out there. We have to get them before it's too late," Zach said as he collapsed back into the chair. "I promise you we will get them, but you have to get some food and water into you, and then you need some rest." Jimmy told him with enough conviction to loosen Zach's mood a little bit, and he began to relax. Jessica made him a T-bone steak from their abundant beef supply, canned green beans from their garden, and the last of their instant mashed potatoes, minus the supply Jimmy had stashed in a corner of their workshop. Zach crushed the meal, guzzling down 2 cans of Dr. Pepper to go along with it. The entire family watched in awe as they felt like they were watching a professional eater. Standing up, he graciously thanked Jessica, asked Chloe and Logan how they were holding up, and quickly turned to Jimmy. "Get your shit and let's go." "Zach, you need some rest," Jessica offered to no avail. "I'll fill your husband in on the way, but we've got to go. It's really bad out there, and my family is holed up waiting on me to get back. I'm already late." "Let's call her and," Jessica said as Zach interrupted. "You don't know, do you?" "Know what? Let's just give her a call. Make sure everything is okay, and you can get to her tomorrow unless everything isn't," she said. "We can't call her. We can't call anyone. You think I just showed up at your door unannounced?" Jimmy and Jessica looked at each other, squinting their eyes in wonder. Jimmy intervened. "What do you mean? We just talked to Jess's mom a few days ago and she said everything was fine down south. Why did you show up here? You could have just called and I would have picked you up if things were that bad." "Bro, I called you a week ago 4 times. I sent you 3 texts too." Jimmy suddenly realized his folly. He thought about how he had erased everything in his call log and texts because he was avoiding Pete the day he effectively quit his job. Running his hand through his hair, he exhaled deeply and said, "What day was that? I don't remember seeing anything from you. But a lot has happened since I talked to you last." Let me check. Oh, that's right. I don't have my phone anymore because it's useless. It's been useless for almost a week. But you aren't connected to the grid because you live out in BFE, so you wouldn't know that. Enough talk. Get your shit and we have to go right now. Jess, thanks again for the steak and for letting me have your Dr. Peppers. I know how much they mean to you. I promise I will get your husband back safe by tomorrow night. He'll be safe with me. Now grab me your rifle and I'll meet you in the truck. Hey, where is your truck?" "I upgraded, didn't I, honey?" Jimmy said with a wry smile, looking at Jessica as she rolled her eyes and smiled. "Yeah, you did. I made him get something that could fit everyone. It's not what he wanted. But how was I supposed to know something like this was going to happen?" Zach giggled for the first time, finally seeming to relax a little, and asked, "What do you have now?" Jimmy hesitated, already anticipating what kind of one-liner Zach would return with. "It's an '04 Suburban." "Nice, buddy. You're still a pussy for letting her run your life, but you could have done worse." Taken aback, Jimmy just smiled and nodded. "Thanks, I guess. Let's go get geared up. Jess, can you get us some snacks for the road, please?" Jimmy led Zach to the gun safe, grabbing him the Colt he had just acquired. "What's this?" "I guess you could call it a gift. I've got an extra mag for it, and I will bring some of my extras too. You need a sidearm?" "How did you get this? This isn't a civilian rifle," Zach asked. "Since we're saving secrets, I'll fill you in on the way," Jimmy said, smiling, his attention remaining focused on the cabinet. Zach thumbed the safety, dropped the magazine from the well, racked the bolt to the rear, and caught the .556 round as it ejected. With practiced ease, he pressed the cartridge back into the mag like the professional he used to be. "What are you bringing? You still got that BCM?" Zach asked. "Yes, sir. That's what I'm bringing along with my pistol. I've got these little walkie-talkies that the kids had to have, but they only used them twice." "Oh, yeah. Those could come in handy." You satisfied with the gear? Still got that 270? Zach asked, peeking over Jimmy's shoulder. I do, but I don't have much ammo for it. How many rounds in your mag? 5 plus 1 in the chamber. Good, we're taking that too, just in case.